Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening wherever you are in the world. My name is Stelmo98 and welcome to Sonic P-06 Lockout Bingo. I'm going to be doing some post commentary for you guys because bingo in this game is insanely stressful, so we really didn't talk a whole lot. And obviously we were in a call with each other, so we didn't want to talk about what we were doing to each other, as that would kind of ruin the spirit of bingo. So if you've never seen speedrunning Lockout Bingo before, basically what's happening here is there's a website called bingosync.com where you can have a bunch of players connect online to a single bingo board. And as you see in the bottom left of your screen there, we've got a 5x5 bingo board with a bunch of different tasks to do in Sonic P-06. So just like that, one of the tasks was die in the water in the oasis in Sonic's Dusty Desert. So that's what Rev did. And when Rev completed that task, they went ahead and checked it off. So now because Rev checked it off, I can no longer do that in order to get a bingo. And in order to get a bingo, we have to either get 5 in a row, 5 in a column, or 5 diagonally. So basically, I'm just going to talk a little bit about my thought process through this. Initially, I was trying to go for column 1. So you can see here, I'm in White Acropolis with Rouge, switching to Shadow, really trying to get the Hop in Shadows buggy, which you can see in row 3. Additionally, I want to mention that I apologize for the top of the board being cut off. That doesn't get fixed until the very end, because I'm a dum-dum and accidentally scrolled down before we started the bingo. Didn't realize it until the very end, but that won't come into play until much later. So I did hop in the Shadows buggy, which locks Rev out of getting row 4. Thankfully, they went to Kingdom Valley to change to Silver and do the Uplift Smash, which is an ability you can do if you are levitating an object with Silver. So you're standing on top and you're levitating it, and press X, Silver throws the object. So it's actually pretty cool. But here we are now. Rev also completed Restart from a checkpoint, and that's no test stage, because if we counted the test stage in that, it would literally take less than a second to complete. So I went ahead and did no test stage there. And what I'm doing on the right side here is the next challenge, row 4, column 1, was to use a full action gauge of level 3 red gem. When you level up the red gem by defeating enemies in this game, the efficiency of the action gauge is longer. So I thought that was kind of a fun challenge, and I really liked that one because it gave me the chance to look at the board and think about what I want to do next. So at this point, I'm kind of going away from column 1, partly because I didn't want Rev to try to lock me out, of course, but also just fill more spaces on the board. So I went over to Radical Train to do a fast one with Shadow. There's actually a glitch in this game. Actually, it's not really much of a glitch. It's more like just an oversight from what when Chaos programmed the game. In section 2 of Shadow's Radical Train, you can actually jump over the railing to your right and find the train already spawned before it's set to chase you, where you chase it down on the motorcycle. So you can actually use Shadow's Chaos Spear to puncture through the invisible wall and to destroy the train like that. A fairly fast one. Like I said, Rev already completed a lot of the very fast challenges, so... And I know it says Rose HGC on the board. Their name, they also go by Reverie, or Rev for short, just to clarify. And I apologize for the quality of their stream. They don't stream very often, so this was more of an impromptu bingo thing, so they just kind of set it up as quickly as they could. In addition, the Twitch guest star at the time of recording this bingo was in beta, so we didn't really... So I apologize for the quality on the left side there, but thankfully my game's looking just fine. As you see, I died there, started to panic a little bit. One of the challenges I thought would be pretty cool was defeating all the enemies in Mephilus's room. I call it Mephilus's room because there's this place in the test stage you can see I'm going to now, where there's just a bunch of Mephilus enemies. Very cool to do with Sonic, because Sonic doesn't actually encounter any of these Mephilus variants of the Iblis creatures in his story, so it's really cool to like use the bounce attacks, spam homing attacks, spin dashes, and all that good stuff to do it. One other thing I want to mention is we start in P-06 Bingo on a save file that has all the S ranks, but none of the upgrades, so that allows us to get the Rainbow Gem and the Memory Shard Lights if we so choose. I actually have a spreadsheet, which I'll link down in the description, which has Fairly rudimentary instructions at the time of recording this. I probably need to update how to use bingo sync in P-06 bingo, but it's fairly easy to figure out by yourself. I mean, I did it, so pretty much anybody else can do it as well. But what it has there is there's actually 97 different challenges, so this is a random seed of 25 of those 97. And hopefully, especially when we go to like silver release and stuff, there will be a lot more going on. One thing I forgot to mention is, of course, it would be cheating if I was able to see where Rev was. So I did minimize the stream and the guest star so I wouldn't see where they were. And I just got extraordinarily lucky here because what I saw is that you can see column 2, Rev has 3 squares. So I'm like, oh crap, I got to do something. Now, because the top was cut off pretty clearly, the very top one in column 2 is complete Wave Ocean, Shadows Wave Ocean specifically. And I was like, okay, I'm more consistent at Shadow's story than Rev is. So I figure, and they don't like Dusty Desert at all, which is where the Memory Shard Light is. So I was like, okay, they're probably going to go for Wave Ocean. So my hope was basically that we'd go into Wave Ocean around the same time. And if they completed Wave Ocean before me, I would just rush to Dusty Desert because I tend to get more consistently better times. Though Rev is an absolutely excellent P-06 player, probably the best. They just sunk so many hours in this game and are very, very good, especially at Sonic's gemless movement and stuff with head chopping and bounce excels, drop dashes, all that good stuff. One lucky thing for me is there's actually 2 separate challenges regarding the Memory Shard Light. One is simply collecting it, and the other one is to beat a stage as uninhibited Shadow. Similarly, for Sonic, there's one to simply collect the Rainbow Gem and another one to transform into Super Sonic and beat a stage. So I got pretty lucky with that, as it just bought a little more time, as not only did they have to collect the Memory Shard Light in Dusty Desert, they also had to beat a stage in Dusty Desert. Now, I do kind of mess up a bit here. What I'm doing is you see me trying to defeat enemies in Wave Ocean. At the top of column 4, the challenge is complete a S-rank a stage with multiple sections. So I was trying to S-rank Wave Ocean, which really in hindsight I shouldn't have done. I should have been trying to complete Wave Ocean as fast as possible. But I guess just in my panic, I wasn't, quite sure. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get something else on the board or something like that. But what I could have done is, as you can see, I have level 3 Chaos Boost, or I could just press RT one more time and get level 3. So I could have done a Chaos Blast, which would have gotten me 3 squares completed in column 1. But I think in hindsight, it was a lot better that I didn't, and I'll explain a little bit why when we get there. So as we can see, Rev is in the Memory Shard Light room, but again, they have to complete a stage with uninhibited Shadow. So they have to physically go into uninhibited mode and then complete the stage. So uninhibited Shadows on the results screen. Which helps me out a lot because they accidentally die. So that certainly buys some time, but they did already obtain the Memory Shard Light, so they are able to just go straight to the end of the stage now. But as you'll see, just with, I would consider general unfamiliarity with Shadow's Dusty Desert, Rev couldn't find the amount of enemies needed to get Shadow to that uninhibited mode. So once we hit there, complete Wave Ocean, and this really messes Rev up in terms of what they're going to do. So what they do is they commit to completing the stage since they're already near the end anyway. But I decided to go ahead and it's like, all right, I just need to straight up complete column 1 as fast as I can. The very top of column 1 is completing, I believe, Shadow's... Well, it's not Radical Train. Actually, or it's Get 15 Lives. So currently, I already have 5, and the objective is to not get 15 more lives, it's to get to 15 lives, just because I figured that'd be easier to track. So what I'm doing right now is, to backpedal a bit, is I'm getting 100 rings in Flame Core. So there were a few complaints for P-06 Bingo that there were too many 100 rings challenges. So what I did is I condensed it to where each 100 ring challenge was paired. And before the bingo board, you would flip a coin to decide whether you would do the first option or the second option. So this one, it says collect 100 rings in Act 3 or Act 4 as Shadow. because we rolled the second option, but we would do the second options before the stream. I'm collecting 100 rings here in Flame Core. Additionally, I figured I might as well send it now because this is my best chance to do a Chaos Blast again, since I have all of these Chaos Drive boxes that immediately put Shadow at maximum boost power. Again, I don't have the Memory Shard while Rev does, so no access to uninhibited mode. So I kind of had to figure out how to destroy these enemies, because normally in the speed run we play on essentially New Game Plus, so I have the Memory Shard to already be able to the Memory Shard to already be able to destroy all the enemies in one hit. So doing it without doing that is kind of interesting. As you can see, I'm nearing those 100 rings in Flame Core, and Rev is headed to the test stage because they weren't quite sure what to do. They didn't really know where to grind lives with Shadow. Much less, as I can definitely tell, when you're playing the game, you look at the bingo card very quickly. So they may have not even known at this point that or what the topmost challenge was in Column 1. So they were going for, I believe, hopping into Shadow's race car, which I don't know if it's actually on the board. I'm actually not quite sure what they're trying to do. So what they did is they kind of backpedaled it, and I believe they're searching for lives now. Same with me. I got really lucky here, as Rev didn't know where to grind lives in Shadow Story, like I said, so they went to Aquatic Base, and they kind of go on a wild goose chase on where to actually collect lives. And what I was thinking, I was like, Ruse's Tropical Jungle is one section, it's an extra stage, so I bet you there's a lot of one-up capsules here. And thankfully, my intuition was correct, because initially, I find one of these one-up capsules right here, but as I'm searching for the second one, I'm trying to collect 100 rings, because of course 100 rings gets you an extra life. So I'm kind of, panicking. I'm like, oh crap, Rev, with how well they know this game, probably knows the best place to collect those lives. But thankfully, I get a little lucky here. As you can see, completing that Wave Ocean as Shadow was definitely the best move that I could possibly do. And they actually didn't complete, not completing the uninhibited, finishing uninhibited with Shadow, as it pretty much would be pointless to do so. So they just went straight for trying to collect lives. Again, looking for more lives in Aquatic Base. Here I am. I just paused real quick to scroll up, so now you can actually see the entire bingo board, with about 3 minutes left in this particular bingo session. But I'm here just going around, still looking for lives. I find another capsule over here, and I'm like, okay, great, that was 20 rings. So at the very minimum, I could, just go around and try to find 20 ring boxes everywhere. But I head up here, get to my 100 rings, and this was a stroke of luck. As you can see at the very top of my screen, there's a capsule there, and it has a 1-up in it. So I was like, okay, cool. It may not be the fastest way in Shadow Story to grind lives, but it's going to be the way I do, because I know where both of these 1-up capsules are. Go ahead and collect that, and then of course restart the stage, because I will gain a life every time I restart the stage. I think it takes about like 20 seconds to get it. So, basically just kind of going until the end. And Rev was saying, at this point they were really frazzled. So they were saying like, man, where do you grind lives in Shadow? So at this point, I pretty much knew I was safe once I found my own little system here to get lives. So I just grabbed this one up. It takes about 26 seconds. Go ahead and grab the extra life and just restart. I really hope you guys liked this post-commentary. I've never really done a full-length video post-commentary before. So I really hope you enjoyed it. And basically, we're just going to grind lives here until we finish out. So again, I will say, if you want to try this yourself, go to bingosync.com and create a custom room, because Sonic P-06 isn't its own isn't a game on there, obviously, because it's a very niche game. You're looking at the two main, I don't want to say only speedrunners, because there are other people that speedrun, certain levels of the game or do that, but the two main speedrunners you're looking at in the video right here. So we're a very small community, of course, but it's very fun. So anyway, saying all of that, we have the you go to Bingo Sync, you create a custom game, And then you head over to my spreadsheet, and I have everything ready to put into a JSON because that's what Bingo Sync reads from. And you just paste those JSON adjusted tasks into Bingo Sync, and you create the room, and you can create like a password and stuff so other people can invite it. And also on that sheet, there is a download link to the save file we use. So it has 9 lives for Sonic, 5 lives for Shadow, all S ranks with none of the upgrades equipped. So we're basically just going to finish out here. I've got 2 more trips here in Tropical Jungle. Rev collecting the yellow gem. But I believe at this point, you know, they're thinking about it. They're like, Tropical Jungle, huh? And they realize maybe if we head to Tropical Jungle Shadow, I could get the 15 lives. But unfortunately, I figured out much earlier. Or I figured that out much earlier than them. So too little, too late, as I'm on my last trip, and they're just starting with 3 lives. So it looks like I'm going to win this round of bingo. So here I go. I'm going over here, Gladden. As you can see, so fun to commentate over grinding lives. It's a lot more fun to play than it is to watch this particular challenge, but I actually really like it. Grabbing that last life, that's 15 lives, and there I am getting bingo. Let's go. Super duper fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, kind of opening, maybe opening your eyes, letting you guys know that P-06 bingo does exist, and it's so much fun for any skill level. So with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see ya in the next one.
It's a single section stage, so there's probably going to be 2 1-up boxes somewhere.